What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Talk Punch. I am Brody, joined by Two Dong Dylan.
Hey!
And the Muscle Man, Charlie Hickman.
Yeah. Nice to see you, bro.
Thanks so much for joining us. We love interacting with you all, so please remember to be kind in the comments below as we're all just having some fun talking about this stuff. And whether you're watching us on YouTube or you're listening in on the audio version of the podcast, wherever you might get your podcast, make sure you go ahead and smash that subscribe button, the star button, thumbs up button, whatever buttons they offer you to rate us higher. Do that.
Ooh.
Do that. And then make sure you come back here every Wednesday to hang out with us and see what we're talking about. Kind of like this week's topic, we are ranking all of the cinematic theatrical Batmobiles. So you guys have seen some of these rankings before. These are our official Talk Punch rankings where we work together. Sometimes we do the top threes. We got our own lists. These top tens, we work together and we have to agree. We have to discuss on why something is better than the other and why something should be rated higher or lower. So it's fun. We enjoy these a lot. Guys.
That's right.
How you doing? How you feeling about this? You ready for this?
With our ears and our hearts, bro.
I'm very curious about this list. I don't know what Dylan's talking about, so I'm just going to interrupt him. This is going to be fun because this is not like a quality of movie issue. This is not a quality of Batman issue. This is just purely aesthetics.
Yeah. And
I think all three of us, if you can't tell just by looking at us, might have some different style aesthetics and what might capture our eyes. So I will drop a bit of trivia for the Batmobile's claim to fame.
Love it.
And it just might shock you. So stay tuned.
I think
it's not
a bit of fun is too. I mean, there's aesthetics, but there's also fun things.
Yeah, sure, Dylan.
Come on. Hey.
They all function with the Batmobile, man. Which Batman movie was he trying to do something to the Batmobile and he's like, oh man, this is a piece of junk.
All right. Well, let's move on. Let's go over what we will be ranking. So, again, this is theatrical. So if it showed up in the movie and it was a Batmobile, then this is what we're doing. So we've got the 1966 Batmobile. We've got the 1989 Batmobile. We've got the Mask of the Phantasm animated Batmobile. We have the Batman Forever Batmobile, the Batman and Robin Batmobile. We have the Tumbler Batmobile from The Dark Knight. We have the Batmobile from the Snyderverse, Justice League, Batman v Superman movies, and then we have the Batmobile from The Batman. Now, we debated back and forth on some of our production stuff whether we include the Bat Pod from the Dark Knight series, but that was more of the motorcycle as opposed to the Batmobile. So that's why you do not see that.
Boat or the Batwing while we're at it.
Yeah. You know, I guess if we were doing Bat cycles, there was a Bat motorcycle in the Batman 1966. So we could rank those. True. And he did ride a motorcycle in The Batman. So I guess we could have a little list, a little three list of the Batman, the Dark Knight, Batman 66.
All right.
Maybe another.
That'll be a big hit. Next time.
All right. So that is what we are ranking. Let's go to our thing. We've got our draw pile right here. They're all shuffled in there. It's all random. I don't know what order they're coming out. So we're just going to take them and place them in these spots. When we place them in these spots, they are not locked there. There's a very good chance that they will move after it gets placed there when something else comes up. And Dylan says, there's no way that should be that high. Because he will.
Or low. I've said that before.
I guess so.
Unbelievable.
Let the controversy begin. All right, let's get it fired up. Let's do this. All right,
so to start out with, we have the Snyder Batmobile.
There's no way that high.
So I actually don't mind this Batmobile. I know that it killed a lot of people, but as a Batmobile, I thought it was pretty cool. It was tank-like, sort of like the Tumbler, but it was also really sleek, like a sleeker Batmobile. It's definitely not in the bottom. I think for me, this would probably, because we've got 8, this would probably be maybe in the top half.
I'm willing to start it off with 5.
That's in the bottom half.
With chance to go up to 4. Because some of these are pretty classic cars. Some of these are like phenomenal cars. I'm not saying that it's going to go lower than that. I agree with you. I think it's a good Batmobile, okay?
Okay.
But then I ask myself, is it better than this one or this one or this one?
Well, we'll get there. Charlie, how are you feeling about this one?
I think just for the sake of the controversy, I'm going to say it's a 5, and we're going to let's start it there. And then, Brody, I want you to convince us to move it up.
I'm open to it, bro. I'm open.
It's a cool one. I think it's a cool one. All right, next up, we have the Batman and Robin one, full of neon. Just an open cockpit, so as he's driving super fast, his head's just sticking right up out of this thing.
Classic.
This thing's the worst. This is my number 8.
What? This is my number 1.
Number 8.
Are you serious?
Don't even put it on the list. Doesn't even belong on the list.
Oh, it's so bad. Yeah, it's terrible.
Like the shape of it, it's really small in the back, and then for some reason just gets massive in the front. I don't.
It's got a big tip. Yeah, it's not a
respectable shaft.
All right, am I safe to say that this is a number 8?
This is my number 8.
Number 8.
Okay.
With a bullet. That's an easy 8.
For a lack of a better term, bro, his head is literally out the entire time.
It is. It is. It looks ridiculous. It looks horrible.
And it's not functional. Yeah, so I think we are very justified.
Such a stupid decision. Okay, next up we have the Tumbler Batmobile. It was never called the Batmobile. It was just called the Tumbler from the Dark Knight. Well, I guess it was just from Batman Begins and the Dark Knight. It did not show up. Well, I guess versions of it showed up in the Dark Knight. Now, not the black version.
Let me ask you this, bro.
Sure.
Would you put Tumbler above or below the Zack Snyder? And tell me why.
As a Batmobile, I think I might put it below.
All right, well then temporarily put Snyder's to 4 and put the Tumbler at 5.
I think the Tumbler's a really cool design. I think.
Charlie, what do you think of that?
Well, I want to hear what the rest of what Brody's saying, and then I'll weigh in.
I think the Tumbler's a really cool design. It's just a beast of a machine. I always thought that like the weapons mode was a little bit silly, where he's like weapons mode, and then he like, and then like lays down. I don't know. The Tumbler, kind of like with how I feel about a lot of the Dark Knight, is I feel like we never got like the prime Batmobile version of it. Like this was the Tumbler, and then we kind of missed out on like the refinements that he could have made to make it a really awesome Batmobile.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I feel like the Snyder is like a Batmobile.
Now, do you think that the Tumbler probably weighs over a ton? I mean, any regular car would. Maybe 2?
I think they built it practically too. It was like a beast.
They did, yeah.
Somehow, though, they got that thing onto roofs without destroying the building. I always thought that was so fun. I'm like, these roofs somehow are so strong. I mean, I would almost fall through my roof.
It's Gotham City.
And
everything in Gotham is built to last, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
with the amount of
the whole city's wrecked. They're like, all right.
With the amount of villains, you got to be reinforced. You got to reinforce roofs, man. All right. Well, for now, we'll stick the Tumbler at 5. We'll see. We'll see where this all starts. All right. Next up, we have the Batman Forever.
Now, I will say this. It does have like a top, so his head is not out all the time. So that's better. Although I would say just at number 7.
Yeah, for me, it's number 7. It's not worse than Batman and Robin, but like the floppy wing on the back. that like randomly splits open like that for no reason at all.
Except that Robin's driving it for some reason, and he's not even.
Oh, the neon hubcaps. Oh.
It's just it just feels like it's from a different universe entirely.
And it's supposed to be continuity. This is the guy who killed him. And now he has this that he's driving.
Yeah, I'm good with 7 on this one.
All right.
Ooh. All right, here we go.
Okay. So the 1966 Batmobile.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure most of us have seen or come in contact with real live action one.
This one's tough. This one, when I was a kid, this thing was awesome. I love this thing. This thing was uber awesome when I was. How does it wind up now, though?
I felt like such a big butt was coming there. But
actually, that's true. I kind of was thinking. I was thinking more like a big however, but yeah, same thing. However,
I don't know how does this land with you guys?
I still think this is really cool. I mean, you can't ever go anywhere and pull up and not just be kind of like, "Yep, this is Batmobile."
it's not a practical thought. But I think if I could own any of the Batmobiles just to cruise around town, right? Like I'm not fighting crime. I don't need it to be like a functional tank. I'm just rolling down the streets of my hometown in a Batmobile. This is the one I want. I want to be, there's one other one on here that would be be a close one to roam around the city in. But I mean, my goodness, it is dripping with nostalgia. And this was like the only Batmobile for so long. It just like was just it's a beauty. I'm not gonna fight to put it number 1.
Number 3?
But top 3, it's gotta be. Come on, just for the nostalgia. It's a beautiful car.
Are we talking 3?
Look at where Robin gets to just sit there. Good old Robin just gets to ride shotgun. He's just hanging out.
Belts on because
I can pick one of you guys up. We're cruising down the street. It's you and me in a 66 Batmobile, baby. Come on.
And the red rotary phone in the middle. Like.
Yeah, look, it's just like a classic car debate. Do you want like the old kind of like 66 car, or do you want like the new flashy? This is just a different stylistic appeal to a classic car versus a modern car. We're not talking about the accoutrements. We're talking about the style here. Come on.
If it has to go top 3, I would say 3.
Did you want to put this 8 or 7 or 6? What is?
I don't know. I honestly I struggle the most with this one. This one's hard. It's got a ton of nostalgia. This thing was super cool when I was young. Is it cooler? Well, but then also thinking of it in terms of like Batmobiles. Like in the day, this was the Batmobile. So I don't know. Maybe this is number 3. And this thing is iconic at this point. You could show this car to anybody, and anybody's going to say that's the Batmobile.
Plus, like if we're talking just functionality here, you got to keep in mind the era of the villains that he was fighting, because the Joker that was being battled in 1960s is very different than a Heath Ledger Joker here. This is all you needed was an open windowed Batmobile to drive you places. You didn't need like the tank stuff because it was a different era. A different kind of. You're fighting the Pharaoh and other random villains and stuff. Yeah, all right. Like, if you guys want to put this like at number 4 or something like that, I'll be disappointed. But ask yourself this. This is my last point, and then I'll shut up. If you were gonna buy a model of the Batmobile to keep on your shelf at home, come on, be honest. Where would you rank this in terms of just a cool model to keep on your shelf to look at and make you happy from time to time?
I keep asking if you wanted a 2 or 3.
All right, fine. We'll drop it at 3. Okay.
I'm not trying to convince you, Dylan. Brody wants to put it at 6, and I'm fighting for my Batmobile here. I
just didn't know if you wanted it at 3 or 2.
I wanted it at 1, but I'm willing to have it at 3.
Okay. Next up, we have the Batman animated series, Mask of the Phantasm Batmobile. I will say I love this Batmobile. This Batmobile is rad. This thing is long and sleek and looks powerful and armors up.
Yeah.
But I know what's coming up. I know that there's more coming up.
There are two that are coming up that are pretty cool. One is highly iconic because of how long it's been around, and the other is getting pretty iconic because of how cool it is. So the real question I have to ask you, bro, is would you put this lower than those or higher than those?
No, honestly, I'm wondering if Tumblr maybe drops to 6 and everything follows.
Mm.
Do you where for the animated Batmobile, where would this fall? Just currently with where things are.
So are you saying that this would be number 4?
I like it. I like it in the top 4. The only thing I kind of it's like a little bit of an unfair advantage because it's like, you know, you get to draw it.
Sure.
Instead of having to, like, you know, the practical effects of it or whatever, but it is cool. By the way, if you guys haven't seen that, you should watch it. Good stuff. I like it top 4, bro. If you want to, we can have a clean debate over the top 4, but I think we have the top 4. We just don't have all of them on the screen yet.
Okay, so if I move Tumblr down to 6, Snyder down to 5, and then animated at 4 with 66 at 3. Is that what I'm hearing?
I think this is good for me so far. I like it.
All right, next up we have the Batman. Muscle car, loud, powerful. I really love the Batmobile. To me, it's a cool. To me, this is my number 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, kind of surprises me a bit.
Yeah. I know. 89 is iconic. 89's got its flaws, though, man. As a Batmobile.
Hold on just a second, bro. Now, let me just paint you this little picture right here.
Paint it for me.
You've got the Penguin driving through traffic on a highway, right?
Okay.
Batman's chasing him.
Okay.
We see him maneuvering all over the place. We see the Penguin there's explosions. He is going all over. The Penguin flips so many times he should be Penguin stew. Batman walks up all cool, right? Okay. He strides over there because he doesn't have to run. The Penguin is gotta be dead by now after all of those flips. Now, we transport you again. This time, we hear, where does he get these wonderful toys? And then get in the car. Which one? And then the music flares up and we see the Batmobile right there. Really cool. Now, keep with me. They're driving along at 2 miles an hour, right?
Just two.
How they're so fast. And the Joker's men are chasing the Batmobile now, okay?
Well, they're at 2 miles per hour.
Joker's men,
they're like power walking.
Batmobile can't handle a turn at 2 miles an hour. It has a grappling hook. It killed probably about 5-6 people with this grappling hook. They didn't realize it was coming. It's all right. They turn the corner. Joker's men run into Cabbage, and they stop because of more traffic.
Okay.
And they get out, and they run. They run away, and, shields and all that kind of stuff. How much do you weigh? That classic. It was still these cool images.
Okay.
With the Batmobile still looking really cool somehow. Now, you got to ask the question. Obviously, the Batmobile is effortlessly cool. Yes. The 89 Batmobile somehow still ends up being cool, even though of the ridiculous scenario. They're running away from the Joker. Batman's chasing the Penguin. These are polar opposites right here. It's like yin and yang. And yet somehow it still ends up being cool. Now, do we think to ourselves, let's go with obviously the one that is really cool, or the one that somehow elevates itself to cool in the midst of its own ridiculousness?
So what I'm hearing you say is that you want to move the Batman Forever Batmobile up to like number 2.
So the Batman is still number one for me.
Really?
Two Dog, that was beautiful.
Those two pictures for you, really gotta.
It was beautiful, Two Dog, but
let me make you a little word salad here. We got
Hey, as I said, a lot of sense still, but it still I was like, wow, as I describe it, it's really not looking that good. Miles an hour.
Okay, so you guys know where I would put this. Are you guys thinking number two then? Like
I think the top, it sounds to me like the top three we each have a 1, right? So I would go 66 for my 1. Dylan's going 80, 89 Batman for his, and you're going the Batman. I think they're all fantastic, which is great. So the real question is, what's your number 2, bro?
My number 2 is Batman 89.
Okay, Dylan, what's your number 2?
It would be the Batman. And you know what? I'm fine with actually the Batmobile being at number 1 because I really did kind of convince myself that. It really does make a lot of sense. You know?
My number 2 would also be the Batman. So just based like an accumulative score, that's definitely our number 1 then.
It's a good way of doing it. So the Batman number 1.
Does that make sense, bro? Because nobody put my favorite as number 2, so it gets the shaft.
Oh no.
You brought the tumbler back twice? Oh, now we get to move mine up.
I did.
Yay!
Supposed to be that picture.
Look, mine's number 1. Mine's number 1. We did it. We did it, guys.
And my number 1, number 2.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Like
this
that.
makes me very happy. Well, this is a... Okay. All right. Well, all right.
Man. All that work.
Hey, that looks great.
It's a cool Batman, and there's a good deal of nostalgia attached to this one as well. But
I love the 89 Batman. I think, looking at it as a Batmobile, yes, it's got the style. I think it's got more style than any other Batmobile on here. Like for functionality, I mean, if this thing takes a speed bump, like it's it's stuck. It's stuck. It would go over the speed bump and would just get stuck there, and it wouldn't go any further. It's iconic. It's awesome. But watching the Batman, I remember watching the chase scene with this car and just thinking like, oh my gosh, this car is so cool, and it's functional, and it's hardcore, and it's awesome to watch. It's awesome to hear. It's awesome to see. Going off jumps, and it looks like it could take just a ton of damage. It looks like it could blow through anything. That is kind of what I would want in a Batmobile.
Yeah, I think it's a good list right here. I personally, like, aesthetically, I'm not as attracted to the militarized. There it is.
Sure.
Versions of the Batmobile. I like a little bit. I know they make more sense like in a practical world where Batman is a real person and he's fighting these real villains But in a more comic book universe, I like it. I like a little bit more style. Now I don't like too much style. Don't give me Batman Forever, and don't give me Batman and Robin. That's too much style.
Wait, style.
but I like this list. I think the order's good.
We good with this?
Is there anything you guys would argue to change?
I don't think so. I think I'm good here. Okay, so for our audio listeners, so what we have right now is number 8, Batman and Robin. Number 7, Batman Forever. Number 6, the Tumbler. Number 5, the Snyderverse Batmobile. I don't know what to call it. Number 4 is the Batman Animated Series Batmobile. Number 3 is what?
Mask of the Black Phantasm. It's a movie one.
Well, just Mask of the Phantasm.
Mask of Phantasm, Black Mask.
Number 3 is the Batman 66. Number 2 is the Batman 89 Tim Burton Batmobile, and number 1 we have as the Batman, the muscle car with flames all over. I'm good with this. I agree. I think that 7 and 8 way too far. Number 5 and 6 are really more military tank like than what they need to be. And then the top 4 are just awesome I look at those and I see Batmobiles.
Yes. Not a bad.
It's kind of funny how like the visual of it, because we just have like everything pairs so nicely.
They do
with its neighbor. You know, we get the ridiculous Schumacher ones next to each other. We get the two tanks next to each other. The two campiest cartoon ones, and then we have the newest movie with like the oldest like movie, not counting the old 66. Sure. Like what a good list we did. Good job, boys.
I agree. Great job, guys.
Fellas.
Well, let us know in the comments below what your order would be. You can call them out by name, or you can abbreviate. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out what you mean. Maybe. And if you're a big fan of the Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, we can still have our love of Batman in common. Yeah. We just might disagree on some of the aesthetics of it, and that's okay too. That's all right.
It is.
Look at the three of us. We're rocking different aesthetics. I'm gonna shave my head and grow a beard. It's gonna happen. We're all here for it. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe, and come back and join us next week. We'll be talking about some other fun, ridiculous stuff. And we love hearing from you. So make sure you do. And you're number one. And the trivia. The trivia. Sorry, Brody. I know you like long endings. If you're still here, it's not even trivia, actually. I don't know why I said that. It's just a little point of reference for you guys that I have a little 5-year-old piano student. We were doing little jingle bells around the holiday season, and he busts out the Jingle Bells, Batman Smells, Robin Laid an Egg.
Yeah.
And it just warmed my heart that the legacy of the Batmobile, losing a wheel and letting the Joker get away, is carried on generation to generation. Passed from fathers and mothers to sons and daughters. May the legacy continue for another 10 decades. Here's to you, Batmobile. Robin and your eggs. We'll see you next time.
Bye.